I want you to try a little experiment with me. It's pretty simple, but you have to really commit for it to work. Just check the date on your phone. In the real world, it's today. But for the next, 20 minutes, I want you to just mentally fast forward the clock. It is February 16th, 2026. You're standing in the middle of a packed club. The air is hot, smells like dry ice and expensive cologne. Lights are strobing, and the floor is just vibrating under your feet.
And it's a specific vibration, too. It's not chaotic, It's a very orderly, very dominant rhythm.
Exactly. So today, we're looking at a snapshot of the near future. We aren't asking an AI to, hallucinate some sci-fi scenario. No, we're analyzing a single definitive source document. It's a text file, a markdown file, to be specific, titled Tech House Story Easer5 Future.md.
It's such an odd artifact, isn't it? It comes from this entity we only know as 786Muzik LLC. And what strikes me right away is the tone. It's called Episode 5, which implies a whole backstory, a sequence of events leading to this moment. But it reads like a field report, a statement of fact about 2026.
And the headline is not subtle at all. The document opens with a 3-word declaration that basically sets the entire stage for us. Tech House dominates clubs.
With an exclamation point.
With an exclamation point.
Which is just a massive claim. I mean, if you look at the history of dance music, dominance is usually fleeting. You had the trance explosion, the EDM big room boom in the early 2010s. Those things burned incredibly bright, and then they burned out. They became parodies of themselves. But this document suggests that in 2026, Tech House hasn't just survived, it's won.
It's the winner-takes-all scenario. So our mission today is to decode this thing. We need to understand how it dominates, who the kings of this future are, and the underground resistance that's bubbling up beneath it. But let's start there with that word, dominance. When 786Muzik says Tech House dominates, what does that actually look like to you?
Well, think about the utility of Tech House. It sits in this very specific middle ground. It's not as aggressive or fast as techno, which can really alienate a casual crowd.
Right, people who just want to have a drink and dance.
Exactly. But it's also not as, cheesy or vocal reliant as commercial pop dance.
Yeah.
So in this 2026 scenario, dominance probably means it's become the default setting for the entire nightlife infrastructure.
The lingua franca of the club, it's the background radiation of the party scene.
That's a perfect way to put it. Whether you're in Tokyo, Miami, London, you walk into a venue, and the default sonic architecture is Tech House. It suggests a homogenization of club culture. The document doesn't mention other genres fighting for the top spot. It doesn't say Tech House is battling drum and band. It says it dominates. It implies the ecosystem has stabilized around this one sound.
Which is fascinating because usually stability is boring.
Right.
If everything sounds the same, people get bored and move on.
Right.
But the document suggests this ecosystem is actually really vibrant because it's split. It's not just one gray blob of sound. The source explicitly divides the 2026 scene into mainstream and underground.
And this is where it gets really interesting. It doesn't just describe the vibe, it names names. It tells us exactly who is sitting on the throne of the mainstream.
The Titans.
Right. The document just lists Fisher Chris Lake.
Fisher and Chris Lake. Okay, hang on a second. I have to play devil's advocate here for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are huge now. They've been huge for years. We all know losing it.
Mm-hmm.
Is the source really saying that in 26 years from now, the same two guys are still the absolute definition of the mainstream?
It is surprising, isn't it? I mean, in pop music, 3 years is an eternity. You'd expect a whole new generation to take over. But by citing Fisher and Chris Lake, the document is telling us something really crucial about the nature of this dominance. It's not just about the people, it's about the brand of energy they represent.
Okay, break that down. What does the Fisher-Chris Lake brand mean in this context? Because to me, it signifies big rooms, pyro, CO2 cannons?
It's the festivalization of Tech House. That's what it is. Think about the sonic characteristics of a Chris Lake track or a Fisher set. It's high octane. It's built on these massive rolling bass lines designed to rattle your ribcage.
Yeah.
And it usually features a catchy, hooky vocal, often a little cheeky or irreverent.
It's the hands in the air moment. It's music designed for that specific drop where everyone in the crowd jumps at the exact same time.
Precisely. It's technical, yes, but it's accessible. It's the gateway drug. If 786Muzik says these two are still the standard bearers in 2026, it implies that the mainstream hasn't softened up at all. It hasn't turned into like elevator music or background lo-fi beats. Mainstream tech house in 2026 is still big, it's brash, and it's loud.
It also suggests that the drop is still king. I mean, Fisher is totally synonymous with that build-up and release mechanic. If he's still the face of the genre, then the crowd in 2026 still wants that dopamine hit.
That's a key insight. It's not just about the artists, it's about the audience psychology. The document suggests the mass market in 2026 still craves that collective release that Fisher perfected. He's not just a DJ in this context, he's an archetype. He represents the party with a capital P.
So we have this image of the mainstream. It's global, it's ruled by these titans who have somehow stayed on top for a decade. But every empire needs a rebellion, right?
Or at least an alternative.
An alternative. And the document immediately pivots to the underground. And it gives us very specific subgenres here.
Romanian UK minimal.
Okay, now for the listener who might just know tech house is that Boots and Cats beat or the Fisher sound we just talked about, we should probably clarify this. Minimal sounds like, well, like barely anything is there.
Right.
But in club culture, it's a very heavy, very specific sound. Why does the document pair Romania and the UK together as the counterweight to Fisher?
It's the perfect foil. If the mainstream is all about the drop, minimal is all about the groove. It's about the journey.
Let's start with the Romanian side. Rominimal, as people call it. How does that contrast with the Chris Lake energy?
Real minimal is almost hypnotic. The tracks are really long, sometimes 12, 15 minutes, and the changes are incredibly subtle. It's not about a big snare roll and then an explosion. It's about micro textures. A hi-hat that shifts just a little bit every 32 bars. A vocal snippet that loops until it becomes a texture, not a lyric.
So it's about patience. Fisher is immediate gratification. Rominimal is delayed gratification.
Exactly. It's music for the heads. It's for the people who are still in the club at 6:40 a.m. It demands active listening, or at least a willingness to get lost in a loop. And then you pair that with the UK minimal sound, often associated with labels like Solid Grooves or the Fuse London Crew. That sound is a bit punchier, a bit more swung than the Romanian stuff.
It's got that swagger. It feels a little more urban, maybe grittier.
It has that UK garage heritage, that little skip in the beat, but it shares that same stripped-back philosophy with the Romanians. It just removes all the fluff, no big synth leads, no pop vocals, just drums and bass. By identifying Romanian UK minimal as the underground, the document is painting a picture of a really polarized scene.
So if I'm walking through this imaginary super club in 2026, the main room is Fisher lasers, confetti, screaming vocals. But if I find that side door, the dark room with the low ceilings.
That's where you find the minimal. It's smoky, there are no strobes, just a red light, and the music is just rolling. It's a cool detachment versus the hot engagement of the main room.
And usually, when you have a scene this divided, the commercial kids versus the underground purists, they hate each other. They don't talk. They're in different universes. But this document drops a bombshell. It claims there's a unifying force, a universal constant that binds Fisher to the Romanians.
A heartbeat.
125, 128 BPM, groove, eternal. All caps on eternal.
This, to me, is the most scientifically interesting part of the whole file. 125 to 128 beats per minute.
It's such a tight window. I mean, we're talking about a variance of 3 beats per minute. Why that? Why is that the magic number? Why not 122? Why not 130?
It's fascinating, isn't it? The precision suggests that this tempo has been sort of naturally selected as the perfect pace for human movement in a club. It's the Goldilocks zone of human movement.
Okay, break that down for us. What happens at 122 versus 130?
Think about the biology of dancing. At 120 or 122 BPM, that's standard deep house. You're grooving, maybe swaying. It's loose, it's sexy, but it's relaxed. At 135 BPM, we're in techno territory there. You are marching, it's athletic, it demands high energy output. It's a workout.
126.
126 to 128 is that sweet spot where energy meets sustainability. You can dance to 127 BPM for 4 hours without collapsing, but it still feels fast enough to be really exciting. It basically matches a brisk walking pace or an elevated heart rate.
And the source calls it eternal. That's such a heavy word. It sounds almost religious. Thou shalt groove at 127 BPM.
It implies a law of physics rather than a trend. The document is arguing that by 2026, we have discovered the perfect tempo. It suggests that this isn't going to change. Whether you are a mainstream artist trying to sell records or an underground artist trying to be cool, you will respect the 125, 128 grid.
Wow. So it's the DNA they share. So even though the cool kids in the minimal room think they're totally different from the normies in the main room, their bodies are actually locked into the exact same biological clock.
Precisely. The aesthetic is different, the clothes are different, the sound design is different, but the skeleton is identical. That 3-beat window is the thread that holds the entire concept of dominance together. You can't have a dominant genre if the tempo is all over the place. The consistency allows for that saturation.
It also makes everything mixable. So in this 2026 world, a DJ could technically layer a stripped-back Romanian loop under a Chris Lake vocal, and it would work because the math lines up.
And that might be the secret to the survival of tech house. It is modular, it's a framework that can hold a pop vocal or a dark, trippy texture as long as it respects that BPM. It's highly adaptable.
But I want to circle back to something. The date, 2026. And that word, eternal.
Right.
If we have Fisher and Chris Lake at the top, who are at the top now, and we have a BPM that is declared eternal, and the document says the genre dominates,
Right.
Are we looking at a utopia, or are we looking at stagnation?
That is the critical question hiding in this text file.
Okay.
Episode 5, The Future, paints a picture of extreme stability. But art usually thrives on instability. It thrives on revolution. If 2026 looks exactly like 2024, but just more so, has the genre stopped evolving?
It's like the end of history for dance music. We found the perfect beat, we found the perfect stars, and we just stopped.
Or, to take a more charitable view, maybe it's not stagnation, maybe it's maturity. I mean, think about jazz or rock. Eventually, the wild experimentation settles down, and you have established standards, you have a canon.
So Fisher is the Led Zeppelin of 2026.
In a way, yeah. He becomes a classic rock figure in an electronic context. The source seems to imply that tech house has become an institution, and 786Muzik LLC, the author, sounds like a record keeper. They aren't predicting a revolution, they are cataloging an empire. They are saying, this is the state of things, it is solid, it is eternal.
That's a bold stance. Usually futurists are obsessed with the next big thing. Everyone is always asking, what replaces tech house? Is it garage? Is it trance? This document says nothing replaces it. It just solidifies.
And that might be the most radical prediction of all. That in a world of constant digital churn and short attention spans, one specific groove captures the global consciousness and just holds on.
It's comforting in a weird way. To think that no matter how crazy the world gets in the next few years, politics, climate, whatever, you can walk into a club and know exactly what you're going to get. That rolling bass line, that 128 BPM.
The heartbeat is consistent. There's safety in the groove. It's a ritual.
So let's try to pull this all together for everyone listening. We've got this text file from the future. It's telling us that in 2026, tech house isn't just a genre, it is the genre.
It is the dominant cultural force in the club scene. It's won the loudness war and the cultural war.
And that world is split. On one side, you've got the titans, the mainstream, Fisher and Chris Lake. They're still selling out the big stages, bringing that high-octane energy. They're the face of the operation.
And on the other side, providing the balance, is the underground. The Romanian and UK minimal scenes. They keep it cool, stripped back, and credible. They provide the depth to the mainstream's width.
But the thing that binds them, the secret sauce that makes this whole machine work, is that specific eternal groove, 125 to 128 BPM.
That's the takeaway. The dominance is built on the consistency of that rhythm. It's a rhythm that the source claims is timeless, the golden ratio of dance music.
You know, when I started this deep dive, I thought, tech house dominates? It sounded a bit ominous, like a monopoly. But the way you describe it, this balance between mainstream energy and underground intellect, it actually sounds like a pretty healthy ecosystem.
It's functional. It serves everyone. If you want to jump up and down and film yourself for social media, you have Fisher. If you want to close your eyes and meditate on a bass line for 3 hours, you have the minimal scene. And they're neighbors. They live in the same house.
And they share the same heartbeat.
Exactly.
Well, whether you're listening to this in your car, at the gym, or maybe you are actually in a club right now, check your tempo. You might just be part of the dominance without even realizing it.
We're all marching to the same beat eventually.
That's it for this deep dive into the archives of the future. We'll be back with another file, another story, and another dive soon. Until then.
Keep it between 125 and 128.
Always.
See ya.